Welcome to More Patience, More Impact, More Income, the podcast for real holistic medical practitioners who want to grow their high-impact, high-income practice without selling out. And now, here's your host, Chris Axelrad.
You're listening to More Patience, More Impact, More Income. Today, we have something a little different for you, and it's just too good to limit to one episode. Here's Chris with part one of the series.
Here's what we're going to do. Here's what we're going to learn today. We're going to learn the key to eliminating all the hard effort from your marketing, so patients continually seek you out instead of you having to go chase them. Okay, so this is going to be really, really important because this is really what the whole thing is about, in my opinion. I learned how, and I needed to actually, because when I first started practice, I was working a full-time job as a software engineer. I didn't have time to go chase. I didn't have time to go around and do all the quote-unquote legwork. So I really, from the very beginning, was forced into learning more automated, more online, and just more efficient marketing, just from a pure need standpoint. We're also going to sort of go over the perpetual patient attraction loop, what it is and why it works so freaking well to grow your practice super fast while saving your precious time. The overview will be to kind of discuss, to show you the big picture. And then since this is a 6-unit thing, over the next 5 units, then I will go into detail about all these different aspects, okay? We're going to talk about the key elements that you must have in order to get started, okay? In order to build this perpetual patient attraction loop. And I'll make sure that I go over that as well. And then a sneak peek at the next steps that we're going to cover in detail, okay? So, reminder, the objective of everything I teach is to accelerate the growth of your practice. You'll see that graph on the right. That's one of the people that joined my program at the end of last year. And you could see by, August. So she joined in December 2017. By August of 2018, she had over tripled her practice. So pretty cool. The whole point of this, though, is so you can help more people, so you can have more impact, and you can enjoy more and more consistent income and be a light in your community as the go-to unquestioned authority in your area of expertise. Okay, so that's really a really important aspect of this. Really quick, very quick, I'm going to make this super easy. Not going to talk about myself much, but I just want you to know who I am. It's important, I think, when you're learning something from someone to get at least a little idea of where someone's coming from. So my name is Chris Axelrad, and I'm a master acupuncturist. I do not have a doctoral. I have not had time to go do that because my practice is really busy. I'm working on it. Probably going to do an online one. But meantime, we're busy, so I'm fine. I specialize in endocrinology and reproductive medicine. And here's why you might want to believe me. The week of September 30th this past year, 200 appointments on our books. And this is a pretty normal week for us. And this calendar encompasses 3 locations in the Houston, Texas area. Okay. So we have 3 clinics because Houston is just this massive urban sprawl, a lot like LA, Chicago. And people don't really leave their little area. You know, like the people in Santa Monica. Now, I might be wrong here because I don't know LA super well. But the people in Santa Monica are not going to drive all the way down to Pasadena, right? People in Orange County aren't going to drive all the way over to the, far north side or whatever, So that's how Houston is. And so really, we open these locations just to expand our market, expand our offering to more people. It's about helping more people, what it boils down to. And here's our Square account for October. You can see how it's just a heartbeat, the revenue. And that's what I love about this perpetual patient attraction loop is that it just builds a lot of consistency in revenue. This is just the month of October 2018. Our gross revenue was $85,926.94. And this is the entire year up until early December. And you can see that, it just looks like a heartbeat. Again, super dependable, super consistent. And so if you take seriously what I teach you today and put it into practice, it'll work. Okay? It'll work. I already know this because I've taught dozens of people and it's working already for them. And I know it can work for you. Full disclosure really quick too is that yes, I love helping people grow their practices. And actually, I love helping people grow in all facets of their lives. And yes, I'm good at it and I would love to help you. So one reason I do these free trainings is to help you decide whether or not you want to work with me in my Accelerated Growth Program, my Accelerated Practice Growth Program. And yes, I offer a free initial consultation for people who are seriously consider working with me and my team. I do have a team. I have people helping me. So you can apply anytime at this URL, okay? And it's really easy. And on that page, actually, you can see a bunch of case studies and stuff like that just to help you, decide if you want to apply or not. Spots are limited, and I am closing it down on December 31st. For at least 2 or 3 months, we will not be doing any new enrollments because I need to focus on building up my clinical training program, which I'm really excited about. Finally, going to really get that going. So first, let's talk about the key to eliminating all the hard effort from your marketing so patients continually seek you out instead of you having to go chase them. So here's one big mistake a lot of people make. They learn something. They learn, for instance, acupuncture. Most of the people that follow me are acupuncturists because I'm an acupuncturist. So they learn acupuncture. They learn this thing, and they really love it, and it's so awesome, right? And then what they want to do is they want to go out and they start trying to tell everyone how acupuncture works. Acupuncture is so awesome. Chinese medicine is ancient. It's incredible. It's whatever, right? And then they hope that people will believe them, and they hope that they get some patients out of it. This is how most acupuncturists and really most what we would call alternative or complementary or non-conventional medical practitioners do to market themselves. They talk about what they do, and they want to convince people that they're legit. And then they hope that that translates into patients. Well, here's the thing. Hope is not a marketing or business strategy, okay? If you're depending on hope to build your practice, you're not in a good place. So I'm going to tell you right now, okay? And you may already know this if that's you, and that's fine, because what you're going to learn today is a whole new way of thinking about this that doesn't depend on hope at all. Actually, you can engineer and you can fully control, okay? Another mistake people make is they position themselves in the same way you might position like a massage spa, like massage therapy, or a nail salon, or some type of discounted service, okay? And what those people are doing is they're commoditizing something that is not a product or service. What we do is not a product, is not a service. We are experts. What we do is provide people medicine. We are doctors. And we can't keep positioning ourselves as a priced commodity and expect to grow a really consistent business from that. But number two, to really position ourselves in the mind of the public as a serious medical option. As long as we're out there, and I've heard this before. I've had people who I've talked to about joining my program who told me that they hired an ad agency, and the lead offer on their ad was come in and get a free, B12 infusion or whatever, or, come in this week and You'll get 4 free B12 infusions with your initial visit or something. And it's like, that's positioning yourself like saying, come to the store today and you buy 1 green bell pepper, we're going to give you 3 yellow bell peppers for free. I mean, it's a commodity. So it doesn't work. It'll work to a point, but it's definitely not going to build the kind of momentum and serious pull that you want if you're the kind of person I am, which is I take this medicine very seriously. I want to help as many people as I can, and I want to deal with people who have real problems and are looking for real help. So the result of those 2 types of mistakes is a lot of work without much return. The marketing is very, very high effort because you're trying to convince people to do something that they don't really want to do or aren't really thinking about. Okay? And that just makes everything a lot harder. It's like trying to convince somebody that they need to buy a new car, even though the car they have works perfectly fine. Now, there are people who will buy a new car just because they want a new car and they have the disposable income. That's fine. But most people are pretty practical, and until their car really starts to, break down or start to have problems, they're not going to go out and want to buy a new car. So it takes a lot of work and a lot of effort to talk them into that. So what's the cure? What's the cure for this? The key to the effortless patient attraction loop, the thing that makes the whole thing go, is you find people who already have a problem and they know they have a problem. So that's an important thing. We're going to talk about some of the details of that later in the training when we start to get more into the details in some of the future lessons here. But let's just suffice it to say that it's really important to talk to people who already know they have a problem, not trying to, educate them on a problem that they are not aware of. Not to say that you can't have a message around prevention, that you can't have a message around helping people understand, like, that if they're having headaches more than 3 or 4 times a week, maybe that indicates a more serious problem or something. I mean, it's always good to have that out there if you want to. But if you position yourself and you really build your message to speak to people who have problems and know they have a problem, then that's the key. Then what you do is you offer to help them with their problem. That's supposed to be a hand holding a life preserver, just in case you can't make out what it is. So you offer them help. You basically say, yeah, I can help you with your problem. Notice I'm not talking about how awesome my medicine is. I'm not talking about, if I'm Chinese medicine, like that is ancient. I'm not talking about any of that stuff. I'm just saying, yeah, I can help you with your problem. And then you actually help them. You make it easy for them to connect with you, and you actually help them. And then guess what? They're really happy. They feel indebted to you because you really helped them with a serious problem. And look, here's the thing, like, you didn't just give them a little more energy or help them sleep a little bit better. They really weren't feeling all that well. You're not just tweaking things. Not to say that that's not cool. I mean, I have patients that once I've helped them, then they come back 2 or 3 years later because they're just a little off and they just want that help. But it's their problem that got them in the door. So here's the thing. People who are already looking for help, and I should have put here with serious problems, are motivated and serious about getting help. So here's the thing. So instead of this, with a whole lot of effort without much return, you have this. You're just using energy that's already there to power your practice. You get continual momentum with virtually no effort. This is a windmill if you can't tell, right? So how does a windmill work? Well, the wind blows. You put a windmill in a place where there's wind, and then it just keeps going, right? So if you want to imagine the problem the person has, the problem is the wind, and you position yourself in that wind and put your windmill up, you're just going to have continual momentum with no effort. I tried to look for a water wheel graphic, and I couldn't find a good one that I liked, so I used the windmill. But it's the same thing. It's like a water wheel. You've got this water, you've got this river. It's already flowing. There's all this energy already there, right? You just put the wheel in there, and it turns, and you don't have to do anything else. So all the energy that your patient, your prospect, is already generating around their own angst and their own pain is what powers your marketing. Okay. The awesome thing about this, you're no longer selling. You don't have to sell anymore. You don't have to convince. You don't have to persuade. You don't have to offer discounts. You're offering real help to people who need it now, right? And everything is simplified. Everything, where to look for the patients. Like, for instance, if you're going to help people with IBS, with serious digestive problems, right? IBS or Crohn's disease. Well, you know where to look. They have support groups for those people. There's gastroenterologists. You can target them with your ads, right? And then you know what to say, right? You can speak to them very directly. In I think tomorrow's lesson, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about what are the key elements of a message, of a really good message that attracts people with these problems to you, okay? You know what to offer as far as your process and service. Like, the process for someone with, let's say, debilitating hip pain is going to be different than the process for someone with panic attacks, right? So coming up with a process that aligns with what you already know they're looking for, right, makes this process very, very smooth and removes so much of the friction around the process, to where really when they show up for their initial visit with you, there's really not that much for you to do. And again, we'll talk about that later as well in detail. But the motivation that they have is already so powerful, because they see before they even meet you how what you do relates directly to them. You also know where to look for referrals. Like I said, if you're going to do digestive stuff, if you're going to help people with Crohn's disease and IBS, if you're going to help people with Parkinson's disease, or whatever it is that you're going to do, then you know who to go talk to. You can talk to, for people with neurological issues, obviously a neurologist office, nurse practitioner who does neurology, maybe some other types of practitioners, etc. Okay. The other awesome thing about this is problems never change. So going back to this slide right here, you have this windmill. We find a place where the wind is always blowing, and we put the windmill there, right? When you have this perpetual patient attraction loop and it's built around a set of problems or one specific problem, whatever you want to do, then once it starts working, it works forever, because people with that problem, there will always going to be people with that problem. I mean, there might be 10,000 people right now with Crohn's disease within a 20-mile radius of where I'm sitting literally right now, because I'm in a very densely populated city. And some of those people are fine with their medication. A lot of those people are not fine with just their medication. And then you've got 10,000 people who don't have Crohn's disease yet, who are going to have Crohn's disease at some point in the next 5 to 10 years. And they're going to have the same exact problem. They're going to have the same exact problems. So you're really set up to be busy forever when you do this. And like I said, in the next installment, we're going to dive into how to choose the right kind of problem, because not all problems are created equal in this realm. And we're going to talk about how to build a message around that problem that will continually attract patients to you. Okay. So let's do an overview of the perpetual patient attraction loop, why it works so freaking well to grow your practice super fast while saving your precious time. Okay, so why do I call it a loop? Well, because it feeds itself and it keeps growing, and keeps growing, keeps growing. Okay, it builds its own momentum. So again, once the system is in place and once these elements are in place, these force multipliers or whatever you want to call them, once they're in place and they're kind of working, they just keep working. You don't have to do anything. At this point in my practice, because I've been running this way and doing my marketing this way for over a decade, I just know that, like, when we get back from our break, because we're on break this week, we're not seeing patients this week. First of all, my schedule on the first day that I'm back is already booked with 30 patients. Okay. So I mean, you know, it's just, and I guarantee you that 80 to 85% of them are going to show up for their visit. And the ones that don't, we have a waiting list already for that day. Okay. So that shows you the kind of energy you generate from having, you know, yourself built around, like I said, this real problem that, you know, people have, right? The second thing is that, you know, we'll end up getting, probably within the first week. I've done this, you know, again, I've been doing this for a decade, and it happens every year. After the first of the year, we'll have days where, like, in fact, that first week of the year, we will probably have literally 20 people, new patients, 20 people we've never talked to before, contact us to start treatment. Okay, 20 in the first week. So that's how it works. And again, minimal effort. I'm not doing anything. I'm like on vacation right now. The clinic is closed. We have Facebook ads running all the time. We have Google ads running all the time. My email list usually gets at least one email a week from me, although lately I've slacked on that a little bit, but we're going to be firing that back up for the first of the year. And that's it. You know, that's it. It just constantly runs. And I'm chilling. In fact, the week before Christmas break, I took a trip to Europe because I hate traveling during Christmas. I have 3 associates, so they all helped me out, covered my patients, and took care of their own patients. And I was able to take a week off. And everything kept running. And that's kind of my point here. It's easily replicated. You can replicate this thing. You can train other people how to do it. And the system just works within your office. And that's how I teach people in my program. They replicate it into their practice. And with some personalized tweaks, of course, everybody has their own personal style and everything. But I help them replicate it into their practice. And the blueprint's all there. Why does it work so well? It's because it's based on core human psychology. And that basically makes it timeless. Because psychology, the way humans think, and sort of our emotional DNA, our ancestral emotional needs and triggers never changes. Never changes. And this is based on giving our market and our prospect and our patient extreme clarity on who we are and who we help and how we help them.
This is thepodcastfactory.com.